So Mark here from Rock and Load, and here today I am with Mark, nonetheless, from Welsh. What way would you describe yourselves, Mark?
Welsh metalers.
Metalers?
Yeah.
Modern metal, degent, prog?
We don't like to really pick one. We like to say modern metal, purely because there are avenues we like to explore and we don't like to box ourselves in any kind of future endeavours that we make. So.
Absolutely. So Mark is a guitar player and I Fight Bears. First and foremost, what's the problem with the bears? Why is everybody so angry towards bears?
They're just big ugly buggers, isn't they, really?
What's the secret behind the name?
So essentially, when we started the band, it was more of a group of guys just kind of getting together, socialising, making music together before we decided to really turn it into something.
Yeah.
Any band needs a name. In our scene especially, there are some out there names.
Yeah.
Without obviously putting anyone on blast or anything like that, but we thought to ourselves, well, there seems to be a sea of sameness, so let's pick something that people go, what?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Why the fuck are you named that? And it kind of gets a chuckle out of people as well. So that's what we want, because we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we take ourselves seriously enough to do this properly,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was more of a case of we needed a band name, and we were watching The Revenant. I'm not sure if you know the film. Yeah. And the scene where he's fighting the bear. One of the boys turns around.
For you, just picked out of the blue.
Yeah, exactly that. Because we were having the discussion while watching the film, and as the scene happened, one of the guys turns around and said, "Just call yourselves I Fight Bears."
Yeah,
done. Instantly like that.
Well, it's always interesting to find out these stories, because, like, my God, people will no doubt be a discussion topic for a lot of people going, like, what the hell's that all about,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I caught you guys playing earlier on. Powerful said you guys were Metal of the Masters winners in Wales.
That's right, yeah,
Welsh
winners.
Yeah. Was there different heats then in different areas of Wales?
As far as I'm aware, I think there was like 2 or 3 different heats. Please don't quote me on that. I apologise if I'm wrong, but yeah, we were competitors and eventual winners of the South Wales one. Yeah.
And how did you view the competition as itself and as a whole? How did you manage it?
Competition is the complete wrong word to describe it, in my opinion, personally. We turned up to that on the first show, and it was nothing but love. Immediately as we walked through the door, each band had their own spot, and the usual milling about that you get when you meet a band that you're not sure of. All that dissipated within the first minute or two. All the bands friending together. We've made good friends with a few of the bands. We've got gigs planned out for the rest of the year with them as well.
Yeah.
So it's not a competition, or that wasn't a competition for us. It was more of we've met a load of new friends here, and we're playing multiple shows in a row, and it just so happened that our name got picked. We were doing it, and we were giving it our all, but we never expected it to be picked. And that's why we were like, well, if we're going to do it, let's do it properly, but we don't like to think of it as a competition. Yeah,
and a lot of people, when you talk to bands here who are playing the New Blood, would say the same thing, regardless of region, because realistically, they realise that it's actually a metal community within their own area, and then, as you say yourself, great to network with other bands locally, so then you can bounce off each other for touring. And then even now, well, I'm from Northern Ireland, the Northern Irish winners are networking with UK bands and stuff like that there to hopefully then sync up tours back and forth. Exactly, because it's a small world in the metal community, so it's good to have those contacts as well.
And we don't need any of this kind of head-to-head in or anything like that. We're all here to help each other. We're all trying to do the same thing. What's to stop us all just working together to do it? Why do we have to work against each other? So again, that's the spirit of the whole competition. Was nothing like a competition.
And what was your experience then today of performing on the New Blood stage?
Mind-blowing. I've been fortunate to play a few festivals in the past. I've played the Sonosphere and things. But this is the first time I've managed to do this under the power of our own music. I was a session musician for another person beforehand. This was different. Walking out on that stage and knowing that it was our music that we were playing, and there were people enjoying it. It was fucking awesome, dude.
It was funny because I was talking to 1 or 2 other bands earlier on, even though they're Metal of the Masters bands, and your names came up as bands that they potentially wanted to see.
Oh,
so
really?
So obviously it's great to see that there's already a reach out there and a reputation that people are grabbing onto, so fair play.
It precedes us, apparently, because I have no idea.
Exactly.
And that's fucking awesome,
But that's the beauty of a festival like this. There's something, especially in the New Blood stage, such a support for it. When you walk into that stage at any time, generally it is packed to the rafters.
And the pessimist in me, obviously, was expecting not to be, like, it's a stage and people want to see things, that's great, but obviously there's other things happening. And we're a new band, no one really knows who we are, but to walk out on the stage and see there were people, stacked kind of like outside the tent as well, peering in and looking, that was just fucking awesome. And that community feel was just there the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was amazing. Really
And
lovely.
you guys dropped your debut album back in 2018, but just recently released another EP.
That's correct.
Liberosis, is that right?
Liberosis, that's the one.
And a couple of years in the making, I believe.
Yeah, thanks to the pandemic.
Yeah.
So pretty much the same for everyone, really. You know, everyone's got the kind of a similar story in terms of their last few years. It was a project that we started literally just before the pandemic hit, but obviously no one knows that was going to happen. So we had to adjust. Not too much, because our method really is remote location, using the internet, record at home, etc. You know, so it was a long time in the making for that process, and because of the pandemic. But we put work into it as well.
Yeah.
We did a lot of kind of reiterations of things, and we're a very democratic band. So if myself or Chris write something, and another member of the band doesn't like a particular part, we'll rewrite it. We rewrite it till everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And we know then that we're serving the song, and there's a broad appeal because all of us have such differing music tastes, etc.
Did you find that having the time then with the likes of the pandemic, did that pros or cons with that? There maybe too much tweaking, or was it better to have
maybe a little too much tweaking? You get to sit with something for too long, and you get into the fine details, and you start picking over little things. So, bit of a con in that sense, but a bit of a pro in terms of the whole world paused, and it kind of felt like it was a chance for us to catch up. You know, we wanted to be there, ready, and waiting for when the doors opened, and I feel like we managed to do that. So,
And talk about yourself. I was just talking to you briefly there. Two guitar players in the band, two vocalists in the band as well. That's sharing vocals. Both of you guys playing Strombergs.
That's correct. Stromberg guitars.
Does that, obviously, it's very sort of, you see Stromberg players tend to be the gent, proggy
technical players, right?
Which you guys are as well. And
thank you.
Right, setup wise, what do you like to use? Like using which amplification, you digital or amps?
We are digital. Even though I have an amp on stage, which is a PRS MT15.
I have one myself, actually.
Great amp, absolutely great. But it works as a power amp, because at the moment we're currently running into a neural DSP. But we only have one. So we're running a dual in and a dual out, splitting the signal for that, and it's just running into an MT15 head as a power amp. And then through speaker. But it works kind of as a backup as well, because if we have any issues with the neural, we've got a PRS MT15, and also as a backup we kind of got a Line 6 pod wireless, which is just like a last resort sort of thing.
And sort of like, then what are you looking for? A real tight sound? As soon as that you're working on for like the attack on the guitars?
Say that again.
A tight sound?
Yeah.
Is that what you're chasing then with the neural DSP and stuff?
So the neural DSP is an incredible piece of equipment. It's running both me and Chris, multiple patch changes synced to a laptop. It's never failed us. Never failed us. It's an incredible piece of equipment. But that being said, it's still a digital. It's never going to be as good as the real thing. But the convenience of a piece of equipment like that is
for consistency, I suppose, as well. When you're going from club to club.
Exactly. Very consistent, and the tones that we get from it, they're almost pre-built. You know, it's so good. You can literally load it up and tweak to the specifics of what instrument you're using to it. And it's good to go. You know, and we pretty much did that. You know, it's no real major tweaking. It's just a reliable unit. It allowed us to shrink our footprint on stage a lot.
Which is important for touring musicians these days.
Exactly.
Cost of traveling and stuff.
And even in the show, it speeds up the transition of changing over, etc. You know, it's just I believe it's the future. It may not be as organic as a tube amp, etc.
It'll probably get there, though. These things always get better anyway.
I believe so, yeah.
And regarding the Stromberg, so what is it about the Stromberg you like as an instrument?
The ergonomics, the pure ergonomics of it. I can sit down with that guitar and hold it in any way, shape, or form. So just back step a second. I used to play Ibanez guitars, but I get a terrible back from playing classical position and twisting around. The Stromberg is just perfectly shaped to place on either leg any way you want, and the form factor of it when you're playing standing up, perfect for me. The neck is that trapezoid strange shape.
I heard about that. I didn't realise that until recently watching a video. It sort of twists almost around.
That's right, so it has a flat spot that runs up the back, but towards the nut, it's kind of higher up. So you've got a higher thumb placement for chord voicings. And as you come up the neck, it kind of descends. So when you're playing high, and it's supposed to train you to keep proper thumb position. And inadvertently, it's trained me. I haven't tried to do this, but obviously the nature of the neck just forces you to do that. And now I feel, just by doing that, it's improved my playing a little bit, to be honest with you.
Mad. obviously the adjustments and improvements in technology and guitars now is just unreal. You know,
crazy.
Some of us will never embrace it because we're maybe traditionalists, etc. Prefer the Strat or the Telly or whatever. But
there's always that one who's got a Gibson and he'll never let it go.
Absolutely. But horses for courses. You know, people like what they like. You know.
Yeah, of course.
And pickups wise, what sort of pickups? The standard Stromberg pickups?
So I've got the standard ones that came with the Stromberg, and Chris actually just recently switched his out for a pair of bare knuckles.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you the model, but
active or passive?
Passive.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm jealous because now I want to do it to my guitar.
Yeah.
But then he's, you know, it's a bit of a process, rewiring and fitting and things like that. And after I saw the work he put in, I was like, I'll be all right for a while. I think.
Yeah. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
Boys and their toys and tweaking all the time.
Exactly,
you know, disaster.
Oh, Chris is the worst for it as well. He's a gadget man. He's got all the pedals and everything.
Sucker for it. So what's on the cards then for the rest of the year for yourselves?
So, like I said earlier, basically a few of the bands that we played with in the Metal to the Masses competition, we've actually become really good friends with. We're starting to line up shows with those guys now throughout the rest of the year. We've got basically a big Cardiff all-day festival that we're a part of. We've got a few. We've got Camden Rocks coming up as well in a few months' time.
Yeah, good show.
We're just trying to get busy.
You
know what I mean? We're trying to put ourselves out there, expose ourselves, get ourselves on the road, get the experience that we want. Meet the people that we want to meet, and do what we want to do. Basically, this is what we're trying to do.
Well, look, best of luck with it, obviously, and take advantage of the exposure and the platform that Bloodstock is, of course, as well. You know.
But we've had nothing but great feedback, and people have been amazing.
Absolutely, it's a great festival, festival. But look, once again, thanks very much, Mark from I Fight Bears.
Hey.
Okay, brother.